So have you ever been scrolling through social media, doing something on your phone, and you notice that what seems to be a perfect world around you in what you're looking at, in the other lives that you see through your social media? Well, today on the Five Squad, we are going to be talking about how to survive the comparison trap that we all inevitably fall into. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Five Squad podcast. For those that do not know who I am, my name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And this is my lovely wife. And everybody knows by now that has been watching. And if you are new here,
I am
love
so lovely.
the lovely adjective because my wife, she is a lovely being. But today is, I don't want to say it's a sad topic or anything like that. I know that a lot of people probably, struggle in this this topic of conversation in what we're going through today. But today is all about, navigating and surviving and getting through the comparison mindset that seems to run itself so rampant today in our society. And a lot of this is due to the fact that we now have the internet, social medias, and different things like that. But, I think a lot of people, like, our parents, for example, I think they probably experienced some of this to a degree, but probably not as much psychologically as we do, and people younger than us experience it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know an exact statistic around this, but I know that nowadays there's probably a lot more kids with therapists than there ever have been in the world, and I think it's due to things like what we're going to talk about today. But yeah, today's all about that comparison trap. And I think we all struggle with this in some way, shape, or form. Definitely some more than others. I know that you particularly struggle with it more than I do.
Yeah, definitely.
I do, again, in certain areas, definitely do struggle with it. But I think that sometimes I'm a little bit more keen on identifying.
Right. Like, that somebody's, motive behind a picture might be
I think
one way or the other, and you don't take it as personally.
Yeah. So in our first point about this episode is, we understand that social media today amplifies this comparison trap that we put everybody, or we put ourselves in.
Well, they amplify perfection. I mean, like, everybody's putting forth this perfect picture, whether it's edited, whether it's the way it looks, the content is, it's very, edited and perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Times a million, really.
Times a million. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the way that because social media is a lot of part of my job, right? So it's not, I don't think it's something that I can get out of being on but I just have to have more control over how I'm on it.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it's the idea of how you are consuming it. I mean, I think
it's also what you're consuming.
Well, but that's what I was going to get to. So I obviously don't have a statistic here either. We probably should have thought about that. But like we
are our own statistic. What are you talking about?
The average person consumes like over 2 hours of social media per day, and what they're consuming is not education related or any type of growth related. Mm-hmm. It's literally mindless scrolling. Yeah. And when you look at, 2 hours of mindless scrolling a day, and you realize how many, decisions your brain is making on every single photo, it's just not very positive, which is actually kind of why I've taken a social media
cleanse
break. It started this summer. Like, I wanted to do the last month of summer before school started. And then that went so well that I was like, okay, maybe the first month of school. That way I can get back to school, get back to work, and like really have like a clear mindset. And I'm just such a product of that mindless scrolling. Mm-hmm. And I knew how much of a detriment it was to my mental health that like now I've decided like how far can I push it, because I am, like you said, a lot more affected negatively by the perfect world of
Yeah.
social media for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, when social media started, it was a way that we could, keep up with our friends and our family and, what's going on and all of that.
And ideally, that's what it's for.
Right. But I think that in hindsight that so I think for you, and this is just from the outside looking in, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. If you had a profile feed or not profile, but if you had a feed of things that you knew were like not personal to you, so like not friends, not people that you actually knew, and like how their lives were going about, if they were complete strangers or celebrities or whatever. Like I feel like it's very easy to disconnect from like a celebrity stature than it is to somebody that you've known for 20 years that looks like they're, just this
So
perfect
yes
thing.
and no, because I mean, you still find some way to idolize people, even if you don't know them. I mean, and people follow.
See, while I don't disagree with you, I think for me personally, like it's much easier for me to say like, yeah, that guy's cool and all, but like I don't connect with it because I don't personally know.
But that's
much about
where
it.
it comes from. I mean, and I don't know if this is male female maybe related, but it's like, well, if they can have it, why can't I? That's where I
Sure.
think the
No, I get
perfect
that one.
world is very
Yeah.
difficult, especially for this whole comparison thing. And you could say as parents, but I don't even necessarily think it's parents versus non-parents. I really think it's just society as a whole. Like you get stuck in like what they have or what they're doing or what they look like, and not like physical features. I mean, what they look like their life is like.
Yeah.
And where it gets deeper is, I'm working so hard in my parenting space, right? And I've come from certain aspects of parenting that I'm overcoming, and I get really proud of where I've come, right?
Yeah.
Or where I am. And then I see this person on social media and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. No, I think
And that's where the comparison begins for me, for
yeah.
sure.
And that's where it can get harmful.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Like it can erode away your self-confidence
Yes,
in you think of what
absolutely.
you're doing. And I kind of said it at the beginning, like I don't know if our parents really went through this that much, but that just sparked a light bulb in my head that maybe, for them it was different. Because I know that you sometimes struggle with what I'm about to say a little bit too. It's movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that picture perfect reality of like,
And that's probably
you know-
where like our parents' generation probably more did their comparison. Because if you think about pictures back then, were like you had one chance on the little disposable camera, and like if you look goofy, you look goofy, and it is what it is. Like you can't edit it to make it look better, right? But like our parents probably did look up to movies and TV shows like that because that was their
was like a
perfect
picture
world.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
Even though TV is still like that. I mean,
no, I know because I know that you say things about like, oh, it does not really like that in real life or whatever, and it's like, but I think
I'm able to see the flaws in TV and movies. I'm like, psh, yeah, right. That's just like money in Hollywood. There's no way that's not in real life, like
Yeah.
you're saying. But when I look at social media, I'm like, well, they're just like me. I mean, their life is perfect, and why
are you
is
talking
mine
about people
not?
that you actually know?
No, anybody on social media. I'm just saying, comparing it to like Hollywood picture perfect, I can usually find a flaw in. Whereas people on social media, I don't tend to find flaws. You are,
Well,
are
yeah,
able to
I know in
see
my
better.
realm, like, I mean, a lot of what people put out on social is
Fake news.
yeah, it's just not like, because I'm in like communities and I'm in a lot of different things where it's like, I know that you're just saying that and giving that information to put yourself in a particular stature in a particular
Right.
light, and you don't know anything more than I know.
Okay, but see, the business space, I feel like you can lead with this fake news kind of thing, and it's easy to spot, right?
Yeah.
But think about a single mom. Me versus another single mom, we're sharing, very real aspects of our life. How do you pick that apart? How do you know? Because you can tell when someone's giving, a spiel that's like a pre-written script for business content. You don't know when
Yeah.
a mom is lying about what she does every day and
Sure.
her perfect morning routine that she only does once a month.
Yeah.
you
For the
know?
gram.
Right.
Right.
But you don't know that. It's so much harder and more harmful to consume mindlessly those kinds of that type of, which is what we were saying. It really depends on what you're consuming. And
I think so. Yes, I do agree with you, but I also think this all goes back to when we're first introduced with like certain kind of crossroads in our mental. Like
right.
I just remember we were talking about movies,
Right.
right? And I just remember when I was young, my dad having the conversation with me about like, because he would let me watch like scary movies. Like I remember when I watched my first slasher movie, like my dad showed
No
it to me.
thanks.
He was like, he had a converse, like he sat me down, and was very serious. He's like, everything that you are about to see is not real.
Okay,
Like,
I
and
think
I
I
learned
need that
and I
disclaimer.
learned at a very young age to be like skeptical of a lot of shit, right?
But like safely skeptical. Like not like a I'm
not
scared.
like
This
not like
being,
the world is
right.
all bad or whatever. And there's there is a lot of bad in the world, but there's also a lot of good.
Right.
And I think just learning how to navigate those waters, the younger that you can more healthily navigate, the better you're gonna have.
I think because
later.
I'm such a believer in people, and you can call me naive, that's fine. I don't have that level of skepticism when it comes to social media. I believe what people are saying, and I want to believe it. And I know there's a part of me that knows like it's not real and all of that, but there's a higher part of me that hopes that it is,
Yeah.
which is why taking a break from it was really beneficial to me to like really get back to my own roots, because that's all that
Yeah.
matters, you
Yeah.
know, like what am I doing in my household?
So speaking about, getting back to your own roots and all of that, I mean, what are some of the ways that we can break free from the comparison trap in your mind? I mean,
So
obviously cleansing yourself of social media,
So I was
taking
just gonna
breaks.
say, the first way to break free of the comparison trap is admitting that you are comparing yourself. And I know that sounds really AA like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very true, because
It is.
if you're in denial that, you're finding struggles in social media or whatever you're consuming, then you're not ever going to break free of it. You're going to just keep going and going and going and down this more deep, detrimental, I guess, path. I think the next way of breaking free, and this is a biblical perspective, but
You're good at this one. Are you going to say the gratitude one?
no, I was actually just
'Cause
going to
you're good
say,
at that one. I'm not so good at that
so
one.
yes, gratitude. But what I was going to say is like reminding yourself of who your identity lies in. Like if you're a believer, then you're reminding yourself of who you are in Christ is the most important like way to break free of those comparisons, but also being thankful for the things you do have.
Yeah.
And not looking for the things you don't have.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen me talk about that in previous episodes, I do think some type of gratitude practice is extremely beneficial for many reasons, but especially here. I mean, you think about what you do have and what you are happy and proud about. I mean, when I first started therapy, my therapist or my life coach, I can't remember which one, said, write 5 things you're proud of yourself for. And it literally took me probably the entire month to think about what I was proud of myself for.
Yeah, I think if somebody gave me that homework right now, I would really struggle through going through
And
that as well.
that's showing like this broken belief system in yourself, which is going to lead you to more of a comparison. So really thinking about who you are and what you truly believe in will help you, but that needs to be like a daily practice.
Yeah.
To break free of those comparisons.
It's one of those things too, like it's like I always tell you, like the what's the word I want to say? Like the feeling of assurance that you get with the world
Right.
it comes from
within.
Like people can help you through that to a certain capacity.
But that's what I mean. Like,
but it's like you have to really be the one to.
And if your identity,
to pull yourself out of that.
identity is found in your spouse or in social media or anything other than your belief systems, for me specifically Christ, but if you're finding your identity in all these other things, you are going to compare yourself 100%.
I don't disagree with you there, babe. But with that, we're at the end of another episode.
Jeez.
Flies by, doesn't it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
When we're having fun, yeah. So we hope everybody that watched this one today, got some out of this, and we want you guys to know that anybody that we know that everybody goes through this,
Yeah.
right? No matter big, small, or whatever, everybody goes through comparison at every stage in life. It happens when you're a kid. It happens when you're a young adult, middle-aged adult, and even probably, I don't know, maybe it doesn't happen so much when you get older. I've heard that when you get older, your mental outlook on life really does change. Yeah, we'll let you know when we get older. Hopefully that'll be episode like 3,000.
Whatever you're doing it right, and you're doing it well. Whether you're working on yourself, whether you're working on your marriage, friendships, parenting, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
As long as you're trying.
Yeah. So if you guys like this episode, please make sure you give us some feedback on it. Like it, share it, send it to somebody that might need to hear it. We really appreciate all that. The feedback that you guys give us, whether it's positive, negative, it helps us do what we do each and every month here. Yeah. So we're going to leave you guys the same way that we leave you every single episode. And just to remember that every day is another chance to get it right.
Keep pushing forward and stay inspired.
See you next time.